Hi, today we are going to have a session on internal business variables. What is business variables? APO demand planning is used to predict future demand based on past sales histories. So here SAP BW plays main role in getting past sales histories from source system into InfoCube. So SAP BW is data warehouse where you can aggregate, consolidate and process data from various source systems to create evaluation and forecast. Purpose of internal business variables. Master and historical data can be extracted from the source system to generate CVCs, characteristics value combinations, for the text and the attribute of the characteristics and for statistical forecasting. It is also used to extract data from live cache in the database as a backup of planning result at the end of every planning cycle. It is used to reporting planning data. It also helps us saving the characteristics values combination CVCs. Data warehousing workbench. It is a central tool to maintain source system, info areas, info objects, info cubes, data source, info source and info packages. Here our view of extracting transaction data from source system to InfoCube. Source systems, for example, SAP system, SAP non-SAP system, SAP system or non-SAP system, or any OLTP system or Excel. Data source, which enables transportation of information between OLTP system and SAP BW. And data source regulates flow of data from transfer structure in the source system to the communication structure in the SAP BW. When data source is replicated, info source are activated and the transfer structure in the both system generated in the both system. You can see transfer structure in APO BW system and transfer structure in SAP ECC system. With help of transfer structure, the data from the source system is transmitted to the SAP BW, and then these data temporarily saved in PSA, persistent staging area. From there, these data are sent to communication structure using transfer rules. Communication structures are independent of source system and contains all the fields that should be populated in SAP BW. Info source supplies data mart with data from source system. Update tool which links info source and InfoCube. InfoCube contains current planning data and old planning data, and the InfoCube's objects are key figures and characteristics, and the data in the InfoCube are designed based on star schema properties. The key figure values are saved in fact tables and characteristics are grouped into dimension and they are saved in dimension table. This is our view of extracting transaction data from source system to InfoCube. Steps to upload transaction data from source system to InfoCube using data warehousing workbench. We have 13 steps to upload data from source to InfoCube. Creation of source system, creation of info area. Under the info area, create info object catalog. Under the info object catalog, create info objects for characteristics and key figures, and create info cube and assign info objects from info object catalog to the info cube, and create application component under the info source. It is option, or under data source create application component, and under the application component create data source for transaction data, and create info package and assign data source to the info package, and create transformation for info cube, and create data transfer process DTP, and load PSA and load info cube, and check and display data and contents in info cube. These are the steps to upload data from source system to info cube. First step is creation of source system. What is source system? Source system is any system that provides data for data mart info cube. Examples of source system are SAP BW, SAP R3 and ECC, other database and non-SAP systems. Creation of source system. Go to transaction code RSA1. Now I will take you to SAP logon. Log in with your ID and password. Menu path, SAP menu, information system, business information warehouse, modeling, data warehousing workbench modeling. Under the modeling you can see info providers, info objects, source system. Click on source system, and here you can see source system BI, SAP, external systems and file. Right click on the file, create source system, give logical system name, continue. It's under process. You can see the message source system creation successfully finished. You can find TST. The source system successfully created. Now next step is creation of info objects catalog. Info object catalogs are way to group characteristics and key figures. Creation of info objects catalogs. Go to transaction code RSA1 and under the info object catalogs create info objects. Info objects are key figures and characteristics are called as info objects in BW. Characteristics are used to save master data, for example, product, customer, region. Key figures are used to save transaction data, for example, sales history, safety stock, etc. Create info objects under the info object catalogs. And create info object catalogs under info area. So info area are user defined work area that is used for maintaining, monitoring and organizing info objects, info cube, info object catalogs and update rules. Creation of info area. Go to transaction code RSA1. Now we have to create info area. Under the info area we have to create info object catalogs for key figure and info object catalog for characteristics, and under the info object catalog create info objects for key figure and info object for characteristics. Now go to SAP. This is modeling. This selection is window. Here you can see the info objects. Click on info object and under the modeling and right click on info object to create info area. Info area. Provide the info area name, description, continue, again continue, refresh. So info area is created. IA_TSTV. Right click on info area to create info object catalogs for key figures and characteristics. Create info object catalogs. Select radio button, characteristics, create, select, activate, Control F3, provide the attributes as a package, save the object. You can see the message object IO TSTV has been successfully activated. And go back. Under the info object catalog, create info objects. For product, APO product, continue, select, double click on BW, give the short description. In the general tab, go to data type, select character strings, provide the length, and save and activate. All objects activated. Go back, create one more info object, LOC for location, continue, double click on BW, short name, data type character string, length, save and activate. Save the object. These objects are turned into green, so they are successfully activated. Now right click on info area, create info object catalog for key figure. Select radio button key figure and create. Activate. Assign package and save the object. Object has been successfully activated. Under the info object catalog for key figure, create info object, get HST history key figure, continue, double click on BW, select the data type number and go to aggregation tab, select the summation for aggregation and summation for exception aggregation, save and activate. Write the assign the package and save the object. Repeat the same procedure for info object forecast. Save and activate. So now we have created under the info object, we have created info area. Under the info area, info object catalog for characteristics and info object catalog for key figure. Under info object catalog, we have created characteristics APO location and APO product. I'm sorry, this should be forecast. Just delete this info object. I'll recreate info object for forecast. Double click on BW, provide short name, set data type number, aggregation, and save and activate. Assign the package and save the object. Now we have created under the info object, we have created info area, info object catalog, and info objects APO location and product, and under the info object catalog for key figure, we have created objects forecast and history. Now I'll show you creation of info cube. What is info cube? Info cubes are data repository for historical data for SCM sales planning. Info cube consists of current planning data and old planning data for demand planning tool. Info cube contains following objects: key figures, characteristics, time, and unit characteristics. And data in the info cube are saved based on star schema properties. The key figures are saved based on fact tables, and characteristics are grouped into dimension, and they are saved under the dimension table. The dimension key is connected between fact table and dimension table. The info cube is a multi-dimensional structure. So creation of info cube, go to transaction code RSA1. Under the modeling, click on info provider. Info provider are the object for which queries reports has been created and executed in SAP BW. Info providers, they are known as data target. There are two types of info providers, one data target and another one reporting purpose. Data target, examples of data target are info cubes, ODS objects, and info objects. So right click on info provider, click on info provider under modeling. Here you can see info area created for TSTV. Right click on the info area to create info cube. Provide the info cube name, the description, the select provider type standard info cube and click on creation button. Double click on BW. This object belongs to BW application. So here you can see dimensions created by system, data package, time unit and time and unit and dimension 1, and the navigation attribute folder and key figures folder. Assign info object created for key figures and characteristics. Click on info object catalog and double click on info object catalog for key characteristics. Extend, click and select these characteristics and drag and drop to dimension 1. Repeat the same procedure for info object catalog for key figures. Double click on them, extend key figures folder, select key figure forecast and history, drag and drop to key figure folder. Select the info cube, save and activate. Assign the package TMP, save the object. Activate the info cube. Object ICTSTV has been successfully activated. You can see the messages, checking info cube IC TSTV, saving objects, we type info cube, dimension table, info cube TSS ICTSTV activated. Go back, refresh. You can see info cube has been created under info area, and we have assigned info objects, key figures and characteristics to the info cube. Now go to next step. Creation of application component. Application component are used to organize info source. You can create application component under info source or It's option, or you can create in application component under the data source and assign the data source to the application component. Create data source under the application component. Now I will take you the creation of application component. In the modeling screen, click on data source. Under the modeling screen, click on data source. To create application component, search for source system. TSTV-LS. Select the source, double click on the source system and right click on the data source for source system. Create application component, provide the name, description, continue, refresh. You can see the application component for TSTV has been created. So right click on the application component to create data source. Data source are a set of fields that can be extracted from the source system to a business transaction. Data source are regulates the flow of data from transfer structure in the source system to the communication structure in the SAP BW. So creation of data source, transaction RSA1. Create data source under the application component. I'll show you the creation of data source. Right click on the application component TSTV and provide the data source name. Set the source system and select. You can create data source for transaction data, master data text, master data attributes. Transaction data, enter the short description. Long description. Here the application component has been selected, ZSC TSTV. Go to extraction tab, select full load, full upload, delta process, and direct access, no DTP allowed for direct access, and go to file name, upload the CSV file from upload CSV file to load transaction data from source system to InfoCube. Now I will show you how to create CSV file. Go to Excel, go to Excel sheet, create one more session, RSA1, see for info objects, copy the info objects name, APO location, APO product, product name, is for UK, history is 1000, forecast 0, because system will demand planning tool will predict future demand based on the histories, so not required to provide forecast values. Sorry, P3, New Zealand location, for P4 1000, forecast 0. Save the file as file name tstv, save as CSV comma delimited, yes, close, save again, for destination, save again, raise yes, yes. Now go to the, or try to upload the file which you have created just now. Double click, header rows to be ignored 1, separated with the separator, provide comma as a separator, go to proposal, load the example data. One minute. You can see the values are successfully loaded. APO product, APO location, history and forecast. Go to tab field. Yes, copy. Provide the technical name for APO product. Copy for history and forecast. Activate data source. Copy, assign package and save the object. Continue. It is just external length specification will be ignored, so continue, no worries. Click on tab preview, read preview data. Data are successfully uploaded. Port P1, P2, P3, P4, US, UK, India, New Zealand with history values. So save the data source. Now next step is info source. Creation of info source is option. Info source supplies the data mart with data from source system. Type of info source are transaction data, master data, text and hierarchies. Creation of info source. Transaction RSA1. You can create info source under the application component. And under the info source, you provide the info objects for key figures and characteristics. And activate the info source. Next step is info packages. Info package controls parameter for loading data, controlling the data target, controls info package to be updated, and it helps in scheduling and monitoring jobs. Creation of info package. Transaction code RSA1. Create info package. Under the data source, and assign data source to the info package. Now I will show you the creation of info package. Here you can see the info data source created. Right click on the data source, create info package. Info package name, and select the data source. Assign data source to the info package. Save. Assign object and save the assign package and save the object. Check entries. Check edit. OK. Go to extraction. See file. File was correct. Processing only PSA. Update. Full update. Schedule. Okay. Save. Data saved successfully. Now under the data source we have created info package and activated the info package. Our next step is create transformation for info cube. Transformations process allows you to consolidate and cleans and integrate data. We can create transformation between source and target. Source objects are data source and info objects. Target objects are info source, info objects, info cube. Creation of transformation. Transition code RSA1. Create transformation for info cube. Go to info cube. Click on info provider under modeling. Go to info cube for TSTV. Right click on info cube to create transformation. Object type data source. Provide data source name. Enter to search. DS underscore TSTV. Select. Continue. Proposal generated with 4 rule. So transformations are successfully activated and it has used the rule 4. So it has connected the data from data source to the info source using rule 4. The product has assigned assigned to location, assigned to in history and the forecast. Activate the transformation. Save. See, transformation turn into green and successfully activated. Creation of data transfer process. DTP object that determines how data is transferred between persistent objects. Creation of DTP. Create DTP under the info cube. The info cube with transformation, a DTP folder. Right click on DTP folder, create DTP, check data source name, and continue. And in here select full extraction mode, update, should be valid record update, no reporting. Go to execute tab and activate the DTP and save. So it is in green, so it's activated successfully. You can see DTP has been created, and you can also create DTP for errors. Go to tab update, create error DTP, assign package and save the object. And refresh. DTP for errors also has been created. Just come out from the screen and refresh. Info area, info cube, transformation, DTP. You can see the data transfer process for actual, and this is for data transfer process for error handling. Now DTP has been successfully activated for actual transformation and for error handling as well. So we have created transformation for info cube, and we have provided the link between data source, fields of data source to the fields of the info source with object APO location, APO product, forecast and history. And we have created data transfer process which transfers the data from PSA to the APO info cube. This is data transfer DTP, and this DTP error DTP. Next step is load PSA. Go to transition RSA1, click on data source under modeling, select on data source and see info package, right click and schedule the info package and start to execute job. Execute. Data was requested, you can see in the monitor. Request successfully loaded to PSA. Start further update. Procedure, you can use data target. You can use data transfer process to distribute data to further data targets. So the data has been successfully loaded into PSA. Load info cube. Go to transaction RSA1. Refresh. Go to info folder under modeling and select info area and extend the info cube. Extend data transfer process. Double click on data transfer process. Execute the button to upload data from PSA to APO info cube. So request generated by DTP will now be processed. Do you want to display request monitor? Say yes. You can see data has been, DTP request has been completed, so no error tag. Our next step is display info cube components. Right click on the info cube and display the info cube contents. You can see key figures and the cat says location and product. And you can also execute error DTP. You can see errors are not requested. No errors found for error tag. Now see the display components. InfoQ display InfoQ contents. Right click on the info cube. Select product select all and execute. Here you can see the all key figures successfully uploaded from source system to InfoCube. Thank you. This is complete flow from uploading data from source system to InfoCube. We have defined source system, creation of info object, info area, InfoCube, assigning info object to InfoCube, creation of transformation for InfoCube, creation of DTP, loading PSA, loading InfoCube, and display contents of InfoCube. Thank you.